Mayor is here for a pretrial and a bond violation. The allegation is that he has a tamper detected on his scram tether on November 24th, lasted until 12:09, and it was 10 hours and 38 minutes. And then at some point, he had not reported to download since January 5th, 2024. And then he had absconded from supervision.
And Your Honor, just to be clear, he's actually in custody because of the first half of that. We had a full hearing on his scram tether violation, and he was supposed to turn himself into the jail. My apologies. A little coffee this morning. That was a while ago when we had that hearing.
January 11th.
Yes. And Mr. Gordonier didn't turn himself in. I saw him arraigned on February 8th, and he kind of laughed and said, I turned myself in, just not when they wanted me to. So
I didn't mean it like that. Sorry.
I did make a note that he appeared to be on detox supervision at that time as well. So I'm not sure what the status is of his tether downloads. The second half is new, as Your Honor mentioned, with him not reporting for any further downloads after that hearing.
I did not get a report as to the second half. I did check several times, so I'm unaware of the second half of that bond violation. And again, I checked, but I could have missed it. But
it is there, Miss White.
I'll check again. Maybe I spelled his name wrong. But as for today, Mr. Gordonier, do you wish to admit that you did not turn yourself in right away?
Yeah, yes. I needed to make sure that my son had somebody to watch him while my wife worked. And I set that up and I turned myself in. I didn't go do the downloads because obviously if I did, they would have arrested me. I still have it on. I haven't done anything to it. It's still on my ankle right now, vibrating, still working. I just needed more time to turn myself in. I wasn't trying to laugh maliciously or anything like that. It was just, I turned myself in, just not when they wanted, like a chuckle, or whatever.
All right. I accept that there's an unwilling admission to the second violation of his bond. Ms. McDuffie.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. We have a pretrial today as well. What do you want to do about that?
We'll have to adjourn the pretrial, but I would like to, we haven't discussed that further with Ms. McDuffie, but I would like to address his, I'm sorry?
There's no offers.
There's no offers?
No.
Okay, then I need to discuss that with Mr. Gordonier. How do we need to proceed? I checked twice and I didn't see the pretrial in the docket, but again, I thought it should have been. And I could have missed it. I'm sorry, I'm not having the greatest few days. But I had someone else check and I didn't see it. But I would like to discuss his bond.
There's nothing to discuss. I revoked his bond when I told him to turn himself in at the jail.
Okay, I was just trying to see if I could get him out. So we would like to have a quick as pre-trial as we can get.
It is a misdemeanor. I do have to set some bond, so I'm going to set it at $50,000 cash assurity. I'll give him a pretrial next week. Will you be ready on February 22nd?
Yes, please. Thank you.
February. I'll see you then, Mr. Gordonier.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Number 2023-0D02121, the state of Texas versus Ronald Guillory, set for a status hearing. Announcement of council, please.
Jesse Mendy for the state stays ready, Your Honor.
Derek White on behalf of Mr. Guillory. Respectfully ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Mr. White, do you see Mr. Guillory there at the annex?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Mr. Guillory, do you see Mr. White? And can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
All right, so Mr. Guillory was examined. Dr. Rubenzer says he's medically competent. He remains legally competent. We skip final and trial. Are we ready for those settings?
Stays ready, Judge.
Do you have a rec? This is the guy who was at the transition center, was supposed to move down with his grandma to San Antonio, but never moved down there.
Yeah, I believe you are correct. The rec is 25 years, Mr. Wyatt. I understand. But there's prior trips to the pen, Mr. Wyatt, that are making that rec so high. So
Oh, I know where you're coming from, but
So, Mr. Guillory, we'll have another hearing for you called the final hearing plea deadline in about 30 days. That was the last hearing that was scheduled for you before we had you evaluated. And so we're picking up right where we left off, and that will be the last time for me to take an agreement if the parties have one. Having heard your recommendation, it may be that you want to proceed to a jury trial. That will be set. But you can tell me at the next hearing what you're ready to do, and Mr. Wyatt will talk to you about that in preparation, okay?
Your Honor, if I may, have a second. See,
What?
I'd like to, express that my 14th Amendment is being violated. I have an underlying issue to the fact of the original case that's in full proceedings, that has.
right. We've already discussed that. I'll discuss that with you more when I come visit, okay?
So I'm just trying to see exactly why we even proceeding with this here, which all means I prefer to go to a jury trial, but the main fact is that there's an underlying issue here that needs to be brought to surface here.
Okay, Mr. Guillory, that's why you have a lawyer. And so, yes, we are going to set a jury trial. You don't have to take an agreement. That is entirely your decision. And so we will visit at the final hearing plea deadline to see where we are. And assuming that you want to proceed to a jury trial, that will be set. You'll know the date. Mr. Wyatt will have it when he comes visits with you, and we'll proceed down that route, okay?
Also, if I may, Your Honor, I've never had if I can get a bond reduction, I've been locked up 10 months on this here, and I can't afford the bond of what is said already. I would like to make a bond. You know, I haven't had that.
We can set one next week, but what I want you to know is that somewhere between you've done 10 months and the state's recommendation is 25?
yes, Judge.
25 years.
That's absurd for
I know. And
for the
so,
state
Mr.
to be
Guillory,
calling
I
that.
need
I
you
think the
to.
state needs to really look into the underlying issue.
Yes, Mr. Guillory, you'll have to talk to your lawyer about that. Mr. Wyatt, I understand now why you had the evaluation requested, but that's what Mr. Rubenzer found.
Just
So
trying
we're
to
gonna move
exercise
forward.
my right.
So we're gonna move forward with the settings. Please talk to your client. I suspect that this is gonna happen when we're in court next time. We'll visit then. I'll send you the settings. Victoria, if you can set a final hearing plea deadline in 30 days and trial right away so Mr. White can have that in hand when he meets with Mr. Guillory.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.